happy to be. I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Yo, it's fun.
Aw, yeah. It's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and...
Big Evil in the back room. And you better back off, Raj. I got a bomb on me.
Would you shut the fuck up? Good God, here we are, the 5th week, so technically the 10th week of Friday the 13th coverage.
Sounds right, yeah.
And since we're starting all over again, it is a new beginning, if you will.
This is a new beginning. Jason is officially dead this entire movie. And this begins my holy trinity of my top 3 Friday the 13th movies. If you're like, Evil, name 3 of your favorite Friday the 13th, this is one of those 3. I'll get to the other 2 when we get to the other 2, which we have not gotten to yet, believe it or not.
Yes.
My 3 are super controversial picks, but yes, this is my first of 3 favorites. This is one of the first Fridays I ever got to see. This is one of my introductory movies.
Well, this movie is ridiculously slept on, too. Like, it seems like whenever you're in a circle of horror fans and you bring up that you like this movie, there's always at least one guy who's like, "Wow, but that's not even Jason. That's fucking stupid." And then you have to remind them that it's literally just the sleazier version of the first Friday the 13th.
That is almost word for word the conversation my wife had with Kane Hodder when she brought up what her favorite Friday the 13th movies are. She literally in that mix, she goes, "Love Part 5. Kane without missing a beat. It's not even Jason."
It's a goddamn paramedic. Spoiler alert. But yeah, you and I, for as long as we've been friends, we have been long-time advocates for this movie. This movie deserves respect. It's a lot of fun. It's got some great nudity. It's got some great kills. It's a really fun movie that kind of pulls the rug out from under the audience. And I think that's the big problem, really.
Which, yeah, being one of the first ones I saw, I didn't have no basis to set it on, so nostalgia wins just because I'm like, oh, maybe this is how this thing always is. It's like a fucking Scooby-Doo thing. Like, they pull the hockey mask off, and who's it going to be this week?
Would have got away with it, too, if it wasn't for you meddling mental patients or whatever. See, and that's the... I know we've talked about this, too. It's like, what is that halfway house? Like, what are they treating? Because everybody there, they almost seem super normal. I mean, there's a kid who stutters. Okay.
We have a stutterer. We have a sexaholic.
We have a fat kid. Like...
Yeah, we have a mentally challenged, a chubby guy. We got to do with anger management problems. We've got severe trauma in Tommy Jarvis. We have one that's just addicted to music. We have one who's like got no inner monologue, I guess you would say, when, hey, I want to make love to you. Oh, maybe
Robin for life, man. Juliette Cummins, one of the... most gorgeous women in the Friday the 13th franchise. Just gonna say it. So,
she's okay. She the reigning heavyweight champion of ladies in the Friday the 13th series and in this movie, Miss Debbie Sue Voorhees.
She is widely regarded as having the best set of lungs in the franchise, if you will. But
I don't know about lungs, but she's definitely got the best breastises on her.
So, I mean, yeah, she's a fan favorite for sure. But if I got to pick, I'm going the other direction, and I'm going Juliette Cummins. So, there's something about her.
You go have your Juliette Cummins.
I will. Slumber Party Massacre 2, Psycho 3, Bad Dreams, and this. And she, always has a nude scene, and... She's got that Linnea Quigley hard body, and that's I think what sucks me in.
I think it's a very plausible girl next door look.
Yes. I will take it.
That might be the X factor that she has. Is like, yeah, you almost feel like this could be someone that lives down the street from you or was a babysitter.
Yeah. And so clinically, why do you think she's there? Like, it's so weird when, as a kid, I never really questioned it. I mean, it was weird. Like, what is... So there's a mental institution, halfway house, on the other side of the lake.
She could just
by a trailer park, sure.
I mean, this is the 80s. She could just have buckling down issues when it comes to learning and being in a routine
She's a witch
thing. So maybe it's just something like that, and it's just like they don't know how to treat some common, ailments like today, like ADD and shit like that. They're just like, we don't know what her problem is. Just send her here. Maybe they'll figure out how to introduce her to normal everyday society.
Right, put leeches on her feet and give her electroshock therapy. She'll be as good as new.
Yeah, if anything gets infected, cut it off and then eat it during the healing ceremony.
This ain't fucking 1843. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, this is a slept-on movie, right? And for me, it never really felt like it wasn't Jason until the reveal that it's not Jason. Because, like, if you look at when we finally start seeing him, when he's after Melanie Kinnaman and Shavar Ross, and he pops up from behind the ambulance in the rain.
Screamer.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a big Melanie Kinnaman fan. And
just because she won't shut up.
Well, and she also, like, in all the Crystal Lake memories and all that stuff, she seems like she thought she was some hot shit. She
still kind of gives off that vibe.
Exactly. Like, bring me to the set of Pinehurst in a limousine. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're in the fifth Friday the 13th movie, directed by a porn director.
She kind of gives that vibe of Peter Vincent in Fright Night. Like, I can't deal with you commoners. Hollywood is calling. 50 bucks? All right, I'll do it.
Yeah, very much. And, but that scene, what I'm talking about is when Jason, in air quotes, is in hot pursuit of them and blows through the door to Pinehurst.
That had to be so much fun to do.
Mm-hmm. That is cemented in my brain. And sure, we see Jason in part 4 blow through the door and go after Corey Feldman and stuff like that. So you just automatically associate that with Jason. So when this paramedic, who we don't know is a paramedic, right, blows through the door, you're like, oh shit, it's Jason. They do that zoom in on Melanie Kinnaman and Shavar Ross's faces, like, oh fuck. It just feels very Friday the 13th. Sleazy Friday the 13th, but Friday the 13th nonetheless.
Oh yes, this is known as the sleaziest of all of them. With what was the little tagline you came up with for this movie?
Oh, a Royale with sleaze. That's what they call it, part 5.
that is so very appropriate, because I don't know which there's more of, nudity, sex scenes, or kills.
There is a fuckload of all three of those things, dude.
Yeah, this is the most after dark Friday the 13th movie of all of them.
Yeah, 100%. And it's relentless too. Like, oh, we've gone like 6 minutes without a pair of tits. Let's have the lady at the diner flash herself. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't.
To nobody but herself.
Yeah, exactly. And cocaine usage. It's the quintessential, like, that dirtbag 80s version of Friday the 13th.
That paramedic, if they like even call him that, or orderly.
Orderly.
Whatever the fuck he is. I love that he brings a, like, Hustler magazine on his job. And
beautiful, sit there, I don't give a shit.
Quote unquote reading it while he's transporting a patient.
Mm-hmm.
With another guy in the car. He's just like, I'm just going to read this shit right here next to you. I don't give a fuck. If things pop up, they pop up. You deal with it. I'm a man.
Which that's another great thing in this movie, which we've talked about a lot in with other movies. But with this movie, they do the old bait and switch. And because the way part 4 ends, you're led to believe Tommy's going to lose his shit. And this movie starts and definitely feels like Tommy is losing his shit. So
Tommy's been losing his shit for like 10 years at this point, it feels like. Which I don't even ask. I don't know when the fuck this would be in the timeline.
Yeah, I haven't the
Tommy's
slightest.
like 10 years older.
I haven't the slightest idea, but they make it seem like Tommy is the one that's low key. He's the killer, and then at the very end, when he shows up and we see him and Jason, air quotes Jason, Roy, we realize like, oh shit, that was the old misdirect, the old magician misdirect.
Yeah, this is the outside of the first one. This is the only one that kind of is supposed to play like a whodunit. And yeah, you never see Tommy and quote-unquote Jason in the same shot through 90% of the movie. And you just have these constant fucking looks, these little ticks, and these sudden burst of violent rages come out of Tommy when he straight up John Cena's a dude through a table for wearing one of his masks. He does. You watch. He does the attitude adjustment, a.k.a. the FU. That maneuver is John Cena's, and he does it to this guy through a table. And then later he beats the fucking shit out of Junior, which should lead up to, like, I mean, in my mind, looking back at it, like, Tommy should just fucking wipe the floor with this paramedic with
he's
with
a
these
soft-ass
martial arts
motherfucker.
skills. Yeah, like he should be
The
just
Tommy stunt double.
yeah, he should just be wrecking this fucking guy. Which, did you even know, like, the first time you watched it, if you can even remember, like, the very first time you saw this, could you tell who the fuck it was when the mask came off and he's in the bed of spikes? Like, you can see it's a face and it's not
You know who
Jason.
I always thought it was? I always thought it was the guy who ran the halfway house.
Yeah, it looks more like him, like the guy from The Last Crusade.
And I'm like, but he was nailed to a tree with a railroad spike thing, so it can't be him. So what's that all about?
Ketchup.
And then it,
Just like Mom put on her spaghetti, baby.
but going back to the whole Tommy thing, it's not enough that he has all these violent outbursts and all of this stuff, but he's also being plagued with visions of Jason. And it seems like every time he has a vision of Jason, someone winds up dead. So you're like,
That dude
ooh.
wakes up so sweaty every day, too. Like, good God. I've woken up sweaty. I'm not in my life once. 38 years have I woke up that sweaty. Like, that is a lot. Like, that looks like a pail of water dumped on you, and then you crawled into bed.
That's what it was, too. They had a water bottle filled with, like, glycerin, and they're just spritzing him down.
Yeah,
and
whatever.
then the director's like, he's not wet enough.
This is a Danny Steinman movie. That is straight up KY jelly, because he has that shit on hand. Because he's a porn director, so he's like, I got a connection. We don't need to use water. This stuff will look nice and wet and slickery, and it'll stay on for at least a little while. Just drench him in this.
Well, that's gross. Why am I drippings with goo?
That stuff looks more like snot. This stuff is straight up sex lubricant.
Yes. A water-based sex lubricant.
Friend or foe.
Is that just like thick water? Can you just buy thick water and use it as a lubricant? Just asking for a friend.
That seems like a lot of work. I don't know. I'd like to try some thick water as a drink, not as a lubricant. I don't know how I could talk my way into that being a thing. Be like, well, we don't have any lube. We want to use lube. How about thick water? Get out.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm also intrigued by thick water, dude. It's been in my Amazon wish list for a hot minute because I was like, when we made the slime for the movie, and I was thinking, well, rather than applesauce and all this other bullshit, can't you just use thick water? Because it's like a slime consistency already.
Yeah.
So I might give that a try for the next project.
Or save that for the 12-hour stream we do. Like, in this hour, we're going to drink thick water for 60 minutes.
Jesus Christ, 60 minutes. We're going to fucking die.
Speaking of people dying, we have so many deaths in this movie, including one of the strangest ones to me. These two teenage
air quotes
biker kids that I'm not sure if they're straight or
Crap my
they're
ass.
dressed like they're going to a very, let's say, a bar from Cruising.
I was gonna say they're like 50s greasers, dude. They're not fucking.
Leather caps is what is like. Nope, that is not a greaser thing. Greasers have greasy hair. not leather biker caps that like Shawn Michaels used to wear with leather jackets and shit and pants. And man, what a gross notion to think of. Again, with adult eyes, being like, that dude's gonna take a shit in leather pants in the woods. Ugh.
Yeah. With no flashlight.
No flashlight, no toilet paper. Those cunts aren't gonna wait all night. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's super fucking gross. Crap my ass. And but yeah, we do get some really fun deaths in this movie, and that is one of them. Is the old road flare down the gullet.
They're all like super unique. Like a lot of the movies, they kind of fall into a kind of routine of like,
The
okay,
old chop.
yeah, stabbed with this, drowned this, and I mean, pretty basic stuff. But in this one, you know, we have a dude with a road flare stuffed in his mouth. We have an axe to the back of the head. We have like garden shears through the eyes. We have
The railroad tie to the forehead. Like,
railroad tie, a leather strap, and a stick across eyes.
do get the axe to the back of the head, which is, you know, that's also really good. Because most of the time in these movies, which we just talked about 2 weeks ago, like the nice meek girl in part 4, the axe through the door, through the chest or whatever.
Defied
like,
all logic.
Yeah, like that's not how doors work or
That's not how
axes
physics
work.
works.
Yeah, at all. But, dude, yeah, you're right. There are some really notable kills in this. We do get a decapitation. Junior gets decapitated. We get the meat cleaver to the face of Ethel.
The two dirtiest fucking people maybe in the series. Like, they give Ralph a run for his money for being dirty. Like,
Oh,
there's
they're way
nothing-
dirtier than Ralph. Ralph is just a drunk.
Yeah, but I also feel like Ralph probably hasn't showered in a long time. But man, there ain't a bit of ounce of clean on either of those two characters in this. Not to mention whatever the fuck soup she's making. It's in like that's in like 100-gallon drum of stuff.
It's the
which looks like-
sleepaway camp drum.
It looks like potpourri. That she's got flowers and shit in there. Like, this is stew? How long is this supposed to be feeding her and him for? A month? 2 months?
I think that's not a flower. I think those are red onions, but I'll allow
It looks like potpourri. When her face falls in that shit, I'm like, that looks like a bucket of wet potpourri.
It truly does.
And is some of that supposed to be for the fucking random dude who shows up? That, like, just wanting to work for a meal? That she's like, go clean the chicken shit? And he never shows up again? And she's just like, another one gone. Like,
Yep.
I like that he gets that job too. He doesn't fucking do it at all. He just he fucks off in the woods to go watch people bang.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you saw Debbie Sue Voorhees in front of you, you're probably going to stop scooping chicken shit.
Oh,
and,
I don't. It won't take much for me to stop scooping chicken shit. I don't care how long it's been since I've ate.
like, well, I think I've done enough.
That should warrant at least like a half a loaf of bread. I think. I open the door. That's good enough.
Yep.
Airing
Dude,
it out.
yeah. And there are just a plethora of, again, we talk about this every podcast now with this series, like not a lot of likable characters, but there are a few likable characters. And
Okay.
the Brown Panty Award, do you have one?
Oh, I do have a Brown Panty Award, but before I get to the Brown Panty Award, a character that I like that is a controversial pick,
Okay.
Mark Venturini.
You like him? Well, he kicks the whole plan into motion. This whole movie, there's a meme about it. This whole movie is because of a candy bar. So
This movie's because of a candy bar. Mark Venturini chops up Joey like at least 40 times with an axe, takes his arm off with the axe, which I love that they like, this guy's got anger management issues. Give him the fire axe.
the sharpest weapon on the premises.
Yeah, have him go work shit out over there. Murders this fucking kid, gets taken away, and he lives. That's a guy who lives through this movie. And then when you
Yep.
hear the fucking real life stories about the guy that played Joey, you're like, yeah, get him, suicide.
Yeah. I am not Dominic Braska. I don't want to make a fucking hour-long podcast that's a smear campaign, but let me just say this. If you are not in the know and you're a fan of Dominic Braska, it at least warrants some research. He's not a great guy. He's done some bad things, whether that's 100% confirmed or alleged bad things. But
He raped Corey Haim.
that stigma isn't. Yeah. Sorry, didn't hear that. Nope, don't know. But yeah, that stigma is enough to make you, put some walls up and be like, I don't know. Maybe I don't like that guy. So.
I'm fine when he gets hacked the shit up. But moving on to, yes, my brown panty achievement has to go to my lady, Miss Debbie Sue, because I don't want to see that gorgeous body just get put to waste like the way it does. It's a shame. It's a crying shame.
Well, I suppose I figured that's where you were gonna go.
Absolutely is where I was gonna go.
And I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I want to say his name is Joey, but that's Dominic Braska. My Brown Panty Award goes to the stuttering dude. There's nothing wrong with him at all. He's a nice guy. He doesn't have anything bad in the movie. You set too many places. You don't set a place for a dead person. Like, you know what I mean? He's like a kind of...
That line was a bit like, I think she's got it, dude. You don't need to pile
But, he's
on.
he's sort of a moral compass a little bit, and he's just lonely and sad, and
I'm a little
there's no
lonely,
scenes.
So shit.
But yeah, there's no cause for his death really, other than he's another body. Yeah,
He's horny. You gotta die.
I always feel like remotely sorry for him, like but
Aw. First
If there
time a
was
guy got the brown panty achievement. Congratulations.
Yes.
Stuttering Stanley.
And if there was a reverse Brown Panty Award for someone who lived that you want to die, it would be Melanie Kinnaman. I don't.
We have
like
that.
her.
That's during the we live stream that. That's the Gwildor Award.
Oh well.
but here we have on the Deep Cut podcast, we go the opposite route. We go, who's someone we wanted to see live?
Yep.
Who's our sympathetic death that we don't want to see die? I will say though, I do love Melanie Kinnaman's scene where Shavar Ross goes into that room with all the corpses and the lightning flash, and he backs out, and she's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "In Tommy's room."
Yeah.
And the camera stays in the hallway. You watch her go into the room. You see her disappear, and then you see the lightning flash, and then screams. Like, every time, that is funny as shit to me.
Dude, one of the things that has always been funny since I was in high school, my buddies and I would sit around and we'd watch this movie, and after Reggie hits Roy with the tractor, and Melanie Kinnaman and Reggie are standing there, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." She like fucking humps his leg. I don't know how to explain it. Like visually, she's like hugging him, and she's like, she like thrusts her crotch into his leg, and me and all of my buddies were like, we would always just bust up laughing, like, what is that? That's not like an embrace. That's not like a, oh my god, we made it. That's like a really awkward pussy grind on a child. And so we would just be like, that is fucking ridiculous.
I never noticed that, but that might be because
You will now, damn it.
I'm super distracted by the fact that she's running in a wet button shirt that is bra free, and with a reappearing, disappearing, reappearing sweater around the neck.
Mm-hmm. That's the prop department. You guys fucked up. And Danny Steinman was just like, make them tits bounce in the rain. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He wasn't paying attention to the continuity.
It's like, she was wearing a sweater?
Have a tree branch rip all of her clothes off. That'd be fine. That fucking... We need to see them tits.
I would love to see the Danny Steinman cut of this movie, where it's probably like a 45-minute sex scine with Debbie Sue Voorhees and her boyfriend.
Yeah. It's got that music you always do. Wah, 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 wah.
I would prefer that music over the audio during that lovemaking scene, because that is what's funny to me. Next time you rewatch this movie, when Debbie Sue and her man are getting down, he has a lot of
The ADR sex noises. Oh yeah.
No, it's straight up yummy sounds of which I get, but it's just like it's weird. Like
Yeah,
she's
and
on top of him and he's all
And it's a very quick scene because for those of you not in the know, the making of this movie
is hilarious.
yeah, Danny Steinman, like we've said a couple times, a porn director, right? So he's privy to shooting sex scenes. He knows what he's doing.
That's where he's comfortable.
Yeah. And so during their sex scene, you've got the actor spreading the actress's butt cheeks and showing her hoo-ha and, fucking touch her pussy, grab her tits, spit on her ass, like all this fucking
Fought in her mouth.
Yeah, I'm gonna shit on these walls, Ray. Scary movie reference, deep cut. So they obviously there's a lot on the cutting room floor that was very racy, if you will, and the director of photography, his name escapes me, but he was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And there's like a famous quote of, I believe it's make it look like a Pepsi commercial, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, shoot it like a Pepsi commercial.
And that's what we get. We end up with like a barely 20-second sex scene, very reserved, real pulled back, a lot of reactions to the not quite Crazy Ralph, not quite eyeball guy from part 3, our vagrant, if you will.
Yeah, I would say the sex scene is it's things are shooting off as things are entering the cave.
There you go. That's the best way to put it.
Man,
yeah.
that's where the sound should have been for the spreading of the butt cheeks scene. That's where you go,
If anybody wants to send me the work print footage, I'll do my best to. I can edit it.
Fuck you, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Give me the raw footage.
Debbie Sue Voorhees raw.
Oh, sign me up. Even today, if she today was like, I'm gonna start an OnlyFans, I'll be like, fucking Raj, I'm using the company card. Don't ask me about it.
Hey, speaking of OnlyFans, did you see that Tammy Lynn Sitch is looking for... Yeah, Tammy Lynn Sitch is looking for people to be in her OnlyFans videos with her.
I did see that. I stood up and told the wife, I'm needed. I gotta go.
Yeah. Well, bye.
Work. My destiny has been called.
My density.
I'm gonna go kill her. She's gonna die of asphyxiation, and it won't be from any strangulation. It'll just be because she can't breathe.
That's right. Going balls deep down the fucking trachea. Wow. Sorry about that.
That's what Friday the 13th Part 5 does to you.
It really does. This is a very hyper-violent movie. And, 2 weeks ago we said for the final chapter, because they believed it was the final chapter, Tom Savini came back. And he wasn't wrong, right? Because he's like, I'm killing Jason. So he did, in fact, get to kill Jason. Jason is dead.
Yep.
Minus a dream sequence and a couple flashbacks, which... that dream sequence always kind of tickled me because they filmed that in Corey Feldman's backyard because he was busy making Goonies, I believe, so he couldn't do
he was shooting
Friday
like
5.
6 day weeks shooting Goonies, and then his day off he was shooting this.
In the backyard, and so that's why the tombstone is like 3 pieces of wood with fucking spray paint on it, and it's basically like, well, just go over to Corey's house and fucking take a sprinkler and shoot that fucking shit. And that's what they did. And
that's also like the silliest fucking shit. Like these two guys that want to look at the corpse of Jason.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Yeah, in the middle of like not a light rainstorm, not like even a rainstorm like that you would see during every funeral scene in a movie, like a straight up thunderstorm in the middle of the night. And they're like, let's dig this fucker up.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Which is why it's a nightmare, because we wouldn't do it.
Even if these guys weren't killed in this vision, this dream, two people digging a 6-foot hole in the middle of a fucking thunderstorm. At the very least, those guys are both going to be sick as dogs by the time they get home.
Maybe those two dream sequence guys who don't really exist deserve our Gwildor Award, but...
No, they're fucking idiots. Yeah. They're not so bad I don't want them on screen, but I'm like, that's youth right there, not thinking like, they're both getting pneumonia.
You gotta get a look at the main man.
Jason is almost mercy killing these guys. He's saving them the pain and torture they're going to have if they had lived after seeing the body. Because what are you going to do when they're like, all right, they didn't bring a camera or anything. They're like, yep, that's him.
That's
like,
him.
how long do we look at this where we dig it, where we put the dirt back on him? Like,
we dig up, stupid.
yeah, we dug him up. Now what? It's like the Grand Canyon. How long are you supposed to look at it before you're like, all right, let's move on?
Yeah, cool. I'm. What do I do? Go to the gift shop?
I'm gonna take his finger.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say that would be something we would do. That'd be our prop game. I'm taking the worms out of his eyes.
I'm taking the machete that they buried him with. They're like, they couldn't pry that out of his hand. They're like,
right.
Just put it in there with him.
The random fucking screwdriver or whatever the fuck.
Crystal Lake does not have a mortician. They're like, just throw him in a box and put him in the dirt, man. We don't do nothing else. Like, don't change his clothes. Don't take nothing off of him. Just bury him as is.
Bury him 3 inches beneath the surface.
We don't have budget for this shit. Just throw him in the fucking dirt already.
Which is a returning motif we'll get to in 2 weeks when we talk about Jason Lives. One of our biggest pet peeves in that movie is his water grave being about 7 inches from the fucking surface of the water. But either way.
Yeah. Well, I'll save that for when we get there. But this is the middle ground of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. We have 3 different Tommies. We have the Feldman OG Tommy. And at the end, we have Tom Matthews as Tommy, which I think is the fan favorite Tommy. That's the one we get in the Friday the 13th, the game. How do you feel about this middle Tommy? That I think he ended up becoming like a preacher.
Is it, I want to say Shepherd. Something Shepherd?
Something like that, yeah.
No, he's fine. He does a great job. Although I don't believe that he's 15 in this. I think he's supposed to be 15 in this movie.
Yeah, he looks 26.
Yeah, so not entirely believable in that aspect, but as an unhinged, I have no lines of dialogue actor, you know what I mean? Like, he does a great job.
Plays disturbed well.
The movie is smart enough to realize that he can't necessarily be a lead because he doesn't talk. So there are times when he's the forefront, but then we shift and we go somewhere else and we don't worry about him for a while. So the movie knew what it was doing, and it plays well, and he does a great job.
Yeah, I'm with you on there. And this movie also has one of the most infamous scenes that everybody remembers. Even if I think you haven't seen the movie, I feel like everyone knows Demon in the Outhouse.
Oh, of course.
Like, everybody will remember that scene. I don't know why it is people always remember Miguel Nunez in his leather getup taking a shit in an outhouse and getting killed by a
baby. Hey, baby.
You gonna get it, bitch?
Freaking A, where'd you get that?
What, man, where did he get all the food he has in that van?
That's a good question. There's
Pizza,
a shitload.
Enchiladas, beer, like, fuck.
He just hit every drive-through on the way to Crystal Lake. Like, we're going to be out there all night. We're going to need to... You want some enchiladas?
Yeah,
like, what drive-through gives you enchiladas, though? That's a weird...
It's like the Talladega Nights dinner sequence of all the different fast food places. It's just in this van. Like, would you like a Whopper? Would you like a Big Mac? How about a McChicken?
How about a Wendy's burger?
How about a
Whatever the
Popeye's
fuck they're
chicken
called.
sandwich? Want a Popeye's chicken sandwich?
Baconator.
Hard to find these things.
Yeah, that is very weird. I never really... I never really thought of that, dude. Good job. Like, that's very strange of just the plethora of food in that fucking van.
Because, well, we've traveled places now, and we had to bring food with us, and it's very much like it's candy, sweets, maybe at most, like the most substance we're going to get is sandwich materials. It's like no one on a convention road trip or a show or anything. We're like, I got these enchiladas.
Right. Some fucking plates and, yeah. It's not practical. But, I mean, I guess it is a van, so it's like...
The van is not that big. They make that van feel much bigger than it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a conversion van. Like, they're big, but they're not that big.
So that's the other question that's not ever really answered is, what does Demon do? Or what is he doing? Like, is he...
Like, for work?
Yeah, like travel. Is he a musician? I kind of get the vibe of like a musician because of all the leather and all the stuff. So it's like, is he coming through because he's got a gig? And, you know, they have a van. But I've never looked hard enough during those scenes to see if there was like a guitar or some drums or a fucking keyboard. I've never looked hard enough in that van.
He plays the guitar.
That's Pickle Dick plays the guitar.
I could totally believe that. That would explain why he has such a fine-looking woman there with him that's cool, living in a van.
Yeah.
That he has the wardrobe that he has. But, man, maybe one of the reasons people have that scene stuck with them so much is Demon dies in, like, one of the ways where people mostly say they don't want to die. Crying while they're taking a shit.
The old Elvis.
Yeah, like the Dave Chappelle bit, like you know, Dave shit on himself right before he died, right?
Died crying like a bitch.
Like a bitch. You see tears streaming down his face as he's impaled by that rod inside the outhouse, which he's having them enchilada shits. He did not wipe before he got up there. He just straight up got up,
which is fine because he's going to shit himself anyway. As soon as he dies, he's going to shit more. So,
yeah, the body will just release the rest of the enchiladas. Which, man,
it was Demon's first album. Release the enchiladas.
That is, if I ever get on like a bowling league or anything of the sort, so we have to have a team name. I've for years been like, we're going to be called the Damned Enchiladas. Trivia night, whatever it is, like that is going to be our team name. It will not be 3B video that night. We're going to be the Damned Enchiladas.
And we will take the gold wherever we go.
Champions.
You don't want this smoke and no trivia games.
No. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
You just want to turn around, walk away.
Just give up during the instructions. It's easier that way.
Yeah, we don't need to see anybody cry.
So another thing that, at least that I know you and the wife enjoy quoting a lot, is the interaction between the sheriff of this town and, what is he, the mayor?
Yeah, I believe he is... he's got to be the mayor of the town.
That
He's got a suit and a bald head.
Yeah, he just shows up pissed off. People are dying all over his town, like really angry about it.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Give me goddamn live, suspect.
Yeah, 5 movies in, and they're like, enough is enough, man. And yeah, the sheriff's like, I know who's doing this. It's Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees is dead.
Again, that's another trope. And I know you love that word, trope. Is somebody that says so-and-so is dead. Normally that is another thing that's a key for someone that's going to get killed later on.
Oh, yeah.
Vic and this guy both live.
That's true. They do. What the hell?
There's no there's no comeuppance for either of those guys. And they break pretty standard rules. And technically, you could say Shavar Ross is the practical Joker. Because he's doing the fake spider on strings. And he lives.
Here's the thing. He is a practical Joker. and he is a black character, but he's a kid. So that
trumps the other two.
I think so. At least in Friday the 13th film logic. But, in other franchises, they don't give a fuck if you're a kid. We're going to kill you. Just don't care.
Do you think that would have crossed the an uncrossable line if Jason had murdered a kid in any of these movies?
I don't know, man. Much like a while back when we were talking about the Elm Street remake and we're talking about how Krueger, they bring that molestation stuff to the forefront. I don't know. Like, what would happen if it was Jason Lives and he murdered a whole fucking cabin of children?
What if when he busts through the cabin and Jason Lives, you have literally the scene from Freddy versus Jason where he's just slash, 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 like at the corn maze party.
Mm-hmm.
Like would that? Well, one, I know ratings wouldn't allow that, but even if he just killed a kid, would it be too much?
No. Let it happen.
Let it happen. All right, which movie is it that it should happen? Should it be this movie? I feel like this being the sleaziest movie with a heavy body count. I feel like this is one of the few movies that it would have been permitted where it would have been like, yeah, it happened there. Like it'd be like a list of things like, why do you don't like Part 5? It's not Jason. It's a sleazy movie, and they kill a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, let him kill Shafar Ross in this movie. Because, here's the thing. He doesn't stick around, right? Like, when Alice survives in Part 1, she sticks around to the rollover into the second movie, for a few minutes anyway. Then we're right in the middle of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, so Tommy, he sticks around for 3 movies. I just don't see...
He was actually supposed to for 6. That was supposed to be him in the car with in the truck with Tommy at the beginning.
Shavar Ross was supposed to be in it?
Yeah, that was supposed to be his character, is going with Tommy for the digging up in the opening of Jason Lives, but his dad was like, no, he's not doing that. You're not killing my kid in the opening scene of this next movie. So that's why they replace it with, what's his name? Horshack.
Yeah, the old Welcome Back Cotter kid.
Yeah, that's supposed to be Shavar Ross. Spoiler.
See, I didn't know that. So that's amazing. But yeah, I don't see why he gets to live, because we've talked about this earlier in the podcast episodes, how these movies start hitting this trend where we have multiple final guys and final girls. And this movie, we get
3.
Yeah, we have Tommy, he survives. We have Melanie Kinnaman, she survives. Then we have the kid, Shavar Ross, Reggie the Reckless, surviving. And that's too many. You know what I mean? Like, why did we not dwindle down to 1? Or
Well,
even, if you want 2, final guy, final girl, Melanie Kinnaman. But
I would have been accepting if like they straight up palled him, like if when he saw Jason appear and he screams and he takes off fucking running, if he just kept running, like the police are arriving the next day and they just pass by this red figure running down the road like Porky's, like he's just still running. That would have been, I'd have been fine if that was the case for him.
So here's the question, which is the reoccurring motif with all of these films. Where does this movie really end? Does this movie end with Melanie Kinnaman dying? Does she die? Or is that a nightmare that Melanie Kinnaman is having? What is that? What is happening at the end of this movie?
I don't know either. Because they leave it as if Tommy is going to be the next Jason.
Yeah.
Like
twice in a row they did that ending.
Yeah. Like they give you like a hint at the end of 4. At the end of 5, they're like, all right, he has the mask on, he has a knife, he is going to be your next killer. And then
get ready, everybody.
Yeah, and then they don't do anything with it. I would say I don't know where this movie ends, but the best explanation was surprisingly, I think, given to Adam Green when he wrote the Tommy Jarvis tapes for future, when we get to the video game. Adam Green wrote the essentially the story that's broken up into like 13 findable cassette tapes you find while you're playing the game, and it's interviews with Tommy Jarvis, and they tie. Adam is one of us, man, ties everything into this series, including Elm Street and Shocker, and even Leslie Vernon. Everything it gets combined into one, and you can look it up on YouTube. Listen to the Tommy Jarvis tapes, all together as a collection, and it is really good. It's got good twists in it, and a kind of shocking, sad kind of ending to it. And you're like, yeah, that's probably how Tommy Jarvis ended up.
See, I haven't listened to it fully because I still haven't collected all the tapes, and I didn't want to cheat. I didn't want to look it up on YouTube, but it's getting to the point where we don't play the game as frequent as we used to.
We don't play the game as much, and it's got some bugs in it where I actually have found all the tapes, and then recently I've logged back in and all my tapes are gone, so I don't have it again. So I was like, I'm glad I fucking listened to that shit on the interwebs instead. Fuck it.
You motherfucker.
It's
you
good.
Dirty rat.
It's a good 30-40 minute storytelling. I recommend you check it out, listen to it, let me know what you think, because it's kind of dark how it ends, and it's good. I applauded Adam. He did an excellent job with the Tommy Jarvis tapes.
Well, it's Adam Green, goddammit. He's the man. So, no more capable hands on the planet to handle some Jason Voorhees stuff or Tommy Jarvis stuff. So we've spent about 46 minutes discussing this movie. So I suppose it's time to move on to our next segment, Evil.
Oh, so it's time to join the masses in the dislike and hatred for this movie. So I guess we'll just be like everybody else for once and listen to some folks who dislike this movie quite a bit. We're going to go to the Amazon 1-star reviews.
Hated it.
Okay. I grabbed just a couple of these. Not to say there weren't a million of them, because, man, the further you go in the Friday series, the more disliked they technically get.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of, us, because I think they just get better and better. But all that aside, we'll just jump right in here with Chris Hatchell.
Ooh.
On April 10th, 2000.
21 years ago today. Not today, I mean.
Almost. No Jason, no good. Oh, come on. What were the people smoking when they made this movie? How could you make a Jason movie without Jason? Worst one since the first one. Like I said, no Jason, no good. Part
Worst
6.
since the first.
Part 6. That's the coolest. Do yourself a favor and forget this one.
All right. I'm a big fan of hashtag worst since the first.
Worst since the first. That's, yes.
That's good shit.
We'll see if we can get Atomic Cotton to make a shirt in that style. Here is one of two reviews that are entirely in caps.
Okay.
From Andy M. Matz. On April 16th, 2001, 1 star, where's Jason? A lot of people try to argue that this movie isn't that bad. Well, I'm a huge fan of the series. I own every entry in the series. This is the worst. Jason isn't in the first of all. And the killer that takes his place is just a bad character and very undefined. Roy, the gore and body count are pretty good, but the movie overall is definitely for diehard fans only. It gets much more credit than it deserves in the whole series. It's number 9.
It's number 9, like in his ranking?
I'm guessing that's what he means by it's number 9.
Okay, fine, okay. All right, okay.
Okay.
Try to channel my inner Denzel. It didn't work. All right, okay.
Okay. Next up, we have Mr. Ghostface.
Ooh.
On January 2nd, 2002.
Which door am I at?
if I had $1 for every star this film deserves, I'd be broke. Don't get me wrong. I love slasher movies, and I'll defend some of the Jason flicks until I'm blue. But the only decent thing about this film is seeing John Shepard, who plays Tommy Jarvis as a teenager without his kit on. He's a very attractive guy. Who'd have thought that Corey Feldman would bloom into this? And makes an unusual diversion from the usual chick parade of the Friday the 13th movies. There is no real plot, even by the series standards. And the budget must have been at sub-Charles Band levels, judging by the abysmal gore effects. Fortunately, they couldn't afford many of them. As for wondering who the killer is, who gives? The director, and I use the term loosely, can't even handle the mystery angle properly. Yes, there is one. You have to concentrate. Absolute crap.
Okay. That's a lot to unpack, man. really pissy about the movie. Every aspect of the movie, actually. So okay.
I like when you're like Charles Band level anything is like,
yeah.
Ooh.
Hey,
Ooh.
Listen up, man. Like, the first 4 Puppet Masters have a fucking bomb-ass, like, budget and look. But that's about it, really.
All right. And the final 1 star I have for today, again, this is the part 2 of the entirely in caps review.
All right.
This is from Weak Heart for Life.
We cart for life?
Weak Heart for Life.
Oh.
Weak, bump, 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 heart for life. On July 16th, 2020. 1 star. Not Jason! What the? You call this a Friday the 13th film? There are so many things wrong with this film. First off, Friday the 13th Part 4 was supposed to be the last film. Now 1985 rolls around, so they decide to make Part 5 a new beginning. But here's the catch. It's not Jason Voorhees. It's Roy, the ambulance driver, in a Jason mask. Why? Because he sees his son Joey, who he never claims as his son, got hacked up with an axe. Oh boy, need I go on about how bad this film is? Let's talk about the ending, shall we? The last shot is of Pam walking into Tommy's room at the hospital. She hears glass break. She rushes in. Oh no, Tommy! But he window is broken. Does she think to look behind the door? No. Door closes. Last shot is Tommy standing behind Pam in Jason's hockey mask with his knife raised. Does he kill her? We never find out because the end credits roll, and Part 6 never tells us what happens to Pam either. This movie is a disaster. What a waste of time and money.
Woof. Okay. See, at least he brought up the same thing we talked about. What happened to Pam?
He is pissed about the ending. I feel more than anything. He is just super pissed about the ending.
Wicked angry, but it just raises questions. It's not a bad ending, but it just makes you go, what is real? You know, so fine, I guess. Be grumpy.
I feel it's a Halloween 4 kind of thing. Like, or Halloween 5. What's this Curse of Thorn? What's the guy in the black suit? And like, that's for the next fucking movie guy to figure out. Not my problem.
I don't give a fuck. I was only paid to work on this for 45 days.
Are you misinformed? I'm here to make Friday the 13th Part 5, not Part 6, 7, and 8. I just make 5, motherfucker. That's for Part 6 guy to figure out. Fuck off.
Yeah. Give me a call if you're stuck on the story. No.
Yeah. Like, oh, that sounds like a Part 6 problem. That's at least $100 grand to solve that. Yep. Otherwise, you can find somebody else.
Eat a dick, bitch.
I've got buttholes to spread.
Oh, goddamn Danny Steinman.
Butts.
Well, so that was the end of the Amazon 1-star reviews?
That is all the Amazon 1-star reviews I could gather for today's showcase.
All right. So that means it's time for the next segment.
The next segment. Does that mean it's time to play the game?
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game!
It's all about the game and how you play it. Hey, you talking to me, Sheriff?
Oh, that is good shit. Yes, it is. Once again, time to play the game, and that game is the prop game. So, you gotta pick a prop from the movie, but you can't make it a super stupid, obvious choice, so don't fucking say you want Roy's hockey mask. That's not on the table.
Yeah, you slightly more deep cutish if you say I want Jason's mask from the dream sequences.
Ooh, yeah, that could work.
But that's not what I'm picking today. I'm picking something very large, very much probably a pain in the ass to have, but
Debbie Sue Voorhees' tits.
only if they're still attached to Miss Debbie Sue Voorhees. Yes, my prop is the character, the entire woman Debbie Sue Voorhees. Nah, I'm not going to kidnap Debbie Sue as much as I want to and have to convince myself not to every time I see her.
Some Saving Silverman shit right there.
So actual prop-wise, what I was going to take from this movie, I got to have the outhouse.
Oh, see, there it is, the poop. That's the second poop-related item. You've gone poop-related for the franchise, and I've gone vagina or genital.
I want the shit.
Yes.
This is the toilet Jason shits in. This is the toilet Demon shits in.
In the Friday the 13th Shitter Hall of Fame. Allow me to walk you through my shitter collection.
That's not a bad fucking idea if I just have different toiletries from the franchise.
Sean Clark is gonna beat us to it by like 6 months. He's like, this is the toilet from Poltergeist. This is the fucking toilet from fucking the original Halloween. This is the Elrod's toilet. We don't even see it in the movie, but I got it. Like, that's the kind of shit.
But I got it.
Yep, that's the kind
in
of
deleted
shit.
scenes. It's filmed, but I got it.
Yep, I got it.
Here's
that's
a
not a bad
certificate of authenticity.
And this is the cutting board.
It's on a roll of toilet paper, as a certificate is.
That's awesome. Signed by the homeowner.
Yeah. Boom, you're dead.
Yep. For some reason, Tom Atkins signed it, and so did Marshall Bell.
Jesus.
Now, as far as my prop goes, man, this movie has a lot of good, weird one-off props. And I thought about it a lot this morning when I knew we were going to be covering this movie, and the one thing that I keep coming back to is Shavar Ross's rubber spider. Because I feel like, I mean, even the video game knew that was a deep enough cut that they put it in the fucking closet at Pinehurst, hanging down.
Love it.
So I think that's the prop that I want, because I would literally just, maybe put it behind the adults only curtain and have it rigged. So every time you opened it, it would drop down.
That's appropriate during the adults section. That's where we put a prop from Part 5, where it belongs, where it feels most at home.
Yes. Sleazy adult section.
Just like Danny Steinman's closet, I'm sure.
Here's what I need to do. I never thought of this, but I think I should do this. Let's go on a fucking arduous trek, because we are physical media collectors, and let's collect all of the Danny Steinman directed pornography, and I can put it in my adult section.
If I found one of them, I would be fine, but I don't know what his filmography all is included. I'll have to IMDb that to see what it is.
Right, I'm going to need to do some research, catch a glimpse of these warlocks.
If anybody out there has Danny Steinman VHS porn, clean it up, sanitize it, and then put it in a big manila envelope and mail it to 3B Video, courtesy of all of our P.O. Box bullshit. And we will do a YouTube unboxing of Danny Steinman skin flicks.
3B Video, P.O. Box 514, Shenandoah, Iowa 51601. Send it on over.
Be sure to remember to sanitize before you send, please.
Please, God.
I'll put on rubber gloves still when I open it.
Well, I'm going to keep those rubber gloves on and put some thick water on them so I can review. Full circle.
It's all I got.
Well, I suppose.
Babe, what happened to my thick water?
That's gross.
Had
Do
leaked.
they have a wide mouth bottle like a Gatorade, so I could just hump the thick water bottle
They call that in the biz a gaper.
or gaper? On that note, I suppose we should probably get going because after all, there's a lot of Danny Steinman porn out there, and somebody's got to watch it. So why not us, right?